Hey loves, it's Brit, and in this video I'm talking about the moon conjunct to Chiron in the composite chart. I just got this request and I was inspired to do this. There's not a lot of information on Chiron in the composite chart, and this aspect is especially significant. So the moon in the composite chart shows the combined emotional energy of the couple. It shows a lot to do with how they feel together. It shows a lot to do with the home life and the combined inner child energy of the couple. Some astrologers would say that the moon in the composite chart shows how the woman feels in the relationship more, and then the sun in the composite chart shows how the man feels. I still feel like it's both, but maybe a little bit more leaning towards how the woman or the feminine energy partner feels in this relationship. So, and this can also apply to Davison relationship chart as well. By the way, all my composite chart videos also apply to Davison relationship chart. I use both. So this aspect shows that the relationship itself brings up a lot of emotional triggers for both people. So you want to look at the natal Chiron placements of the two partners, and also their natal moon placements as well, to see, the wounds that are coming up related to this moon Chiron conjunction. And also you do want to look at the actual conjunction in the composite chart, the house that it's taking place in. I don't always use signs in the composite charts, but if you do use signs, look at that as well, and other aspects that are being made. And this is going to show the wounds that are coming up. It could be a very painful relationship. It could be a relationship that it's very triggering. But with the conjunction, it also can be that this relationship is like a safe haven or a safe space away from the wounds. So you want to look at everything and see, if this relationship is like a sanctuary, like a healing space from the wounds, or like if the relationship itself is bringing out more wounds than we would have on our own. So like how you would be able to discern that is just like the rest of the composite chart too, the synastry, like if it's good or more difficult. But generally, like, there's going to be a lot of wounds that come up in this relationship. There's going to be a lot of emotional healing that comes up in this relationship. That is one of its purposes, is to emotionally heal and connect with our inner child or our inner feminine self. So this relationship can make both people end up being a bit more touchy, but that can have two different manifestations. It could be that, we're a little touchy with each other, but we're also very easily nurturing each other. Like, so, maybe we recognize our partner is like a bit sensitive, but we're always there to, like, be their support system or whatever, right? So you could see two people being a bit touchy or a bit emotional or a bit, acting like a wounded animal at times, but then the other person nurturing them, and like this can switch, right? Because this is an aspect in the composite chart. So it's just both of you can be easily wounded and triggered, but you also can easily support each other through these triggers. And so there can end up being a lot of emotional closeness and vulnerability that comes up in this aspect. So it can actually be a really beautiful soulmate aspect in your composite chart. It can also show that a big purpose of the relationship is emotional healing. And so you've essentially signed up for this relationship in whatever way, at the soul level, to help you emotionally heal and to help you look at your inner child wounds, look at your, day-to-day triggers, look at all that you're running away from, and bring awareness and bring healing to that. So if that's the kind of relationship you like being in, a very emotionally connected and activate a relationship, you're going to really like this. Now, if you're an escapist or, someone who's uncomfortable dealing in the emotional realms, or someone who's not quite aware of their Chiron wound or running from their Chiron wound in their natal, this relationship could be especially uncomfortable and triggering, right? And some people might want to look the other way, and you want to look at what other lighter aspects are going on. It's not in itself a heavy aspect, but it's just a very emotional theme to the relationship. So with some other nice aspects going on, this relationship can be like the healing experience of a lifetime, where, yeah, the amount of emotional closeness, vulnerability, triggers coming up, but then healing coming up, it can really be a powerful experience. So you want to look at the house too that this is taking place in, the area of focus that the healing is going to take place, and like I said, the natal placements to see what else is coming up. But yeah, this relationship can really end up being like a sanctuary away from the pains of the world. It can kind of create like this vortex where, we're in this relationship, and it's like this safe haven. It's like this sanctuary. It's like this place where all of our wounds like can come up and we can lick our wounds, right? Like, or the other person is licking them. Oh, that's kind of gross. But in a sense, like, yeah, the other person can help us soothe our wounds. And my only advice is, like, don't enter this relationship if you like running from fears and triggers and emotions, because it would be pretty impossible with this aspect. And that's one of the major themes of this relationship, is emotional healing. So you'll be able to look back on this relationship as one that was deeply transformative. And Chiron also has an element of purpose to it. There's certain planets and significators of purpose, right? And Chiron really shows the wound and healing. And once we become aware of the Chiron wound, we use it to help heal others. So in the composite chart, Chiron shows a big part of the relationship's purpose and healing for others. So this relationship can end up being a symbol of emotional healing, of inner child healing, and of emotional intimacy and vulnerability and depth. So that's what this couple can end up being known for, is like, and not that the moon is necessarily something that's visible unless it's in like the first or 10th house of the composite chart, but just Chiron in general can really show a lot about the relationship's purpose and what it brings to not just the couple, but also the collective. So you could think of it as like, this is your piece as a couple that you are transforming or transmuting for the good of all. And you can end up being, if you're some type of, self-help person or spiritual person, or, whatever you do in a sense of service, this part of your composite chart can end up being helpful to others as well. What else do I want to say about this aspect? Yeah, I had this in the composite chart of my late husband and I, and so when this was requested, I thought, oh yes, I want to talk about that, because it's something that I do often think about. The moon wasn't receiving a lot of aspects. There was also a square to Jupiter. That's all that I can think of at the top of my head, but this conjunction was there in a very close orb. And obviously this relationship brought me a lot of pain, with his departure of the physical plane. But prior to that, it was a very emotionally healing safe space, and it was a place where I really feel like we took refuge in each other, and definitely a lot of healing was brought about. And of course, a lot of healing was brought about for me in his death, and learning how to rebuild. So, maybe me as the feminine, and that is relevant to the moon being conjunct to Chiron versus whether it was sun or something. So maybe there is something to that theory of the moon being the female. But yeah, anyways, that's my thoughts on this particular conjunction in the composite chart, or the Davison chart. I'd love to know your experience of this aspect. If you had it in your composite chart, was it like this? Was it not like this? Let me know in the comments, and thanks for your requests, you guys. Keep them coming, and we'll talk soon. Bye.